Ubuntu. I am because we are. A wonderful sub-Saharan African philosophy, way of seeing the world in my South African context. I'm a South African California, so I offer you my way of exploring, of embodying, of living Ubuntu. I am because we are. A person is a person through other persons. And so I invite you, take ownership of Ubuntu. Take ownership by challenging the young people at the camp to begin by seeing one another. And I say that because when we see one another, do we begin to understand? Do we begin to really live into the real fact that our futures are intertwined? My future is wound up in your future. For me, that is the heart of Ubuntu. A child learns to walk and talk and eat because a child watches an adult do that. The campers will learn how to embody compassion, tenderness, because they'll be watching mentors do that. Older students do that. I grew up in South Africa under a time of apartheid, a time of separateness, a time of difficulty. And I give thanks for my ancestors, my elders, who sang songs of hope, sang songs of joy. How it has shaped me is that it's given me the capacity to truly forgive. That is the invitation for community. That is the challenge from Jesus. That is the gift of Ubuntu. Being a person through other persons.
Paul writes to a community in Corinth that has some serious issues. They had divisions based on wealth, on status, on experience, on ability. They just didn't understand some of the core concepts of community that were embedded in being God's people and so important to Jesus' teachings. A couple thousand years later, we may better understand what a blessed community of God is supposed to be, but it doesn't mean that we are any better living it. In some ways, the Corinthians get some grace because the concepts were new to them. A couple of thousand years later, we still wrestle with division, self-promotion, sharing power, and assuring everyone that they are loved and needed. In genuine community, there is never a conflict between being who we authentically are, sharing the gifts we have been given, and our ability to learn from others. In this way, we are mutually empowered by the same Spirit. Power is not one-sided or unilateral, where some try to impose their will on others. Rather, there is mutual empowerment, where we are affected by others while also making an impact on them. A relational power guided and gifted to us by the Holy Spirit. This structure of gifts and mutual support is designed for the common good. Now, Paul is doing his best to help the church in Corinth understand this concept of the common good and common humanity in the sharing of the Spirit. As we glean a message for today, drawing on Paul's words and the wisdom of the church over the generations since, we are reminded that we do not have to become the same in the Spirit. We're not called to live as a melting pot community, but rather we are a mix of distinct and beautiful ingredients that together complement and expand the potential of all.